All right, this is Unit 2, Section 4 homework. This is the last page, 31 through 42. Okay, so again, there are a lot of these, but these take some more practice to kind of get the hang of it, and hopefully by the end, it's gotten a lot easier. All right, so I'm just going to start with 31. So again, I'm just going to do x and y less than. Okay. Now I'm going to look for any arrows. Okay, so I have my arrow here. That arrow is going left and down. So left means my domain has a negative infinity, and down means my range has a negative infinity. Okay, because left is negative on the x and down is negative on the y. So I have those two, and I don't have an arrow anywhere else, which means these two spots are going to be numbers. All right? So my domain is from left to right, so I need to find the right side of my graph. So if I look at this, the right side, so here's my x-axis right here. The furthest right that I go is right here. Okay? So again, it's just like a wall. I hit the wall and I go left. So this number on the x-axis is 2. Okay? And because it's a line, lines get underlined. So pretty much if it's not an open circle or infinity, then you underline it. Okay? There it goes. All right. So I have my right side is 2. Now, range is bottom to top, or down and up, however you want to think of it. So I have the bottom, I need the top. So if I look at this, the top of my graph is all the way up here. Okay? And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this one has a closed circle on the end, so this one has to be underlined also. So again, open circles and infinities are not underlined. Closed circles and lines, so anything else that's not open or infinity, you will underline it. And that's 31. All right, 32. Okay, I have x and y in the middle, less than. All right, arrows. I have an arrow right here. Okay, that's going to the right and down. So right is positive on my x. Okay, so positive infinity. And down is negative on the y. So negative infinity. Okay, I don't have an arrow anywhere else, so I have these two spots to fill with numbers. So domain is left to right. So my left, furthest left that I go is right here, which is negative 5. And it's not an open circle or infinity, so I underline it. Okay, and then I have the right side. So now I do bottom to top, so I just need the top part of my graph, or the highest. So the highest point my graph goes is right here, which is 6. It's closed, so that very clearly tells us to underline that. And we are done with 32. All right, 33. I have x and y in the middle, less than. Okay. Now I have an arrow up here that's going to the right and up. So right is positive infinity on my x, and then up is positive infinity on the y. All right, which means my other two are numbers. So on domain, I do left to right, so I want the left side, which is right here, and that's negative 2. Okay, that is not an open circle or infinity, so I underline it. And range is bottom to top, so the bottom of my line or graph is right here. And I'm being very careful not to draw over that dot because you can see the dot is open. So I'm not going to underline it, and that is negative 6. And that would be my answer for 33. All right, 34. Okay, I'm going to start with x, y, less than. Okay? Maybe. I don't know. It's blurry. Why is it blurry? my goodness. There we go. A little better. Okay. So I have an arrow right here. That arrow is going right and up. So right is positive infinity on the x-axis. So that's domain. And up is positive infinity on the y-axis. Okay. So those are my two infinities for this one. Now I need my left side and my bottom of my graph. So the left side of my graph is all the way over here, which is -6. And that's in a closed circle, so I have to underline that one. And the bottom of my graph is right here on the line. So on the line for y, that's 0. And that is not an open circle or infinity, so I underline it. And I'm done. All right, 35. See, these kind of get quicker the more you do these, because they get easier. Now notice for, let's see, the rest of these graphs, I now don't have any arrows, okay? So I will not have infinity the rest of this paper. Okay, none of these have arrows on them anymore. So that means all 4 spots that I have will have numbers on every single one. But I can still start with x and y. Okay? So I still start with x and y. Now, because I don't have any arrows to help me start, I'm just going to start with domain and do left to right. So this is left to right. So the leftmost point, or the furthest left that I can go, is right here, which is -6. And because it's an open circle, right, it's open circle, I am not going to underline that. Okay, so that's the left part of the graph. Now I want to go all the way to the right, and notice my furthest right is right here, and that is 2. Now this one does not have an open circle, or it's not infinity, so I have to underline it. Also, lines get underlined. All right, so that's left to right. Now I want to go down and up. So bottom to top, lowest to highest, however you want to think of it. So the bottom of my graph is right here, and that is -5. And on that line, I have an open circle. Okay, open circles do not get underlined. And then I do the top of my graph, which is all the way up here. And the top is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that has an open circle, so I do not underline that one. And so that would be my final answer. So you can kind of see when I drew it like this, the big box, that my graph is completely inside these 4 lines. Okay? So they should be if I have 4 numbers right here. If I don't have 4 numbers, right, I can't draw a box because I can't ever close the right side or the top. So it's like I have an L, somewhat, if you were to do that. So all of these I should be able to box in my graph because I have all 4 numbers. All right, on here, okay, see, I have a vertical line again. So vertical lines cut through the x-axis, which tells me the x equals some number. Okay, and that number is, was that 6? And remember, you can do it with the inequalities as long as both sides are 6 and they're both underlined. Okay, so you can do it that way. I'm just going to do equals on vertical and horizontal because it's just easier to write. Okay, now for my range, I have y less than, less than. Okay, now again, I go bottom to top. Okay, so the bottom of my graph is way down here, and that is -7, and that is a closed circle, so I have to underline. And the top of my graph is all the way up here, which is +4, and that's an open circle, so I do not underline. And that's it. Now, yeah, of course, this one I can't box in because my graph is vertical, so it would be like a box with a width of 0, which is just a line. So this is a special case. Vertical, horizontal lines are different. All right, let's go on the next one, 37. This one's interesting, just because it's a full shape. It's a circle. But with a circle or any other shape, right, I'm going to have a left, a right, a top, and a bottom. Okay, so I have x and y, just like that. And I'm going to go, so I go left to right. So my left side is over here, and that's -6. And look, there's no infinity, right? It's not infinity, and there's no open circle, so I underline it. And on the right, my right side is all the way over here. That is +4. And again, it's not infinity, and there's no open circle, so I underline it. So that's my left to right. Now I want my bottom to my top. So the bottom of this is right here. I know it's crooked, but that's -2. No open circle, not infinity, so I underline it. And the top is all the way up here, which is 6. And I underline that. So see, I've boxed in my circle. Because I have all 4 numbers, that means I have a top, bottom, left, and right. So I should be able to box in my graph. All right, number 38, almost done. Okay, so I have a curved line, so I'm gonna do x and y. All right. Now again, I'm gonna go left to right, bottom to top. Okay, so the furthest left that I can go is right here, and that is -6. And my dot or my circle is closed, so I underline it. That's the furthest left. Then I go all the way over here to the furthest right, and that is +6, but this one has an open circle, so I do not underline it. Okay, so I have left to right, then I want bottom to top. So my bottom is right here, and my top is right here. Okay, so the bottom is -2. And there's no open circle, and that's not infinity, so I underline it. And the top is 6, right here, +6. And that is an open circle, so I do not underline it. And again, look, I was able to box in my graph. Now, I can't box in the stuff earlier because with arrows, you can't box in an arrow, right? So just be careful with that. Okay, this is a weird looking shape, but I do the same thing. So I do x, y, all my less than signs, okay? So again, I need to do left to right, and then bottom to top. Okay, so my furthest left that I go is way over here. And that's -1, 2, 3, 4, -5. And that point, or that dot, is filled in, it's closed, okay? My furthest right is all the way over here, and that is 6. And that's a line, and it's a closed circle, so either way, I underline it. So that's left to right. And now I need bottom to top. So the lowest point, or the bottom of my graph, is right here. That's -2. And I underline it, and the top of my graph is way up here, and that is 6. And it's also underlined, because there's no open circle and it's not infinity. And that's my answer for number 39. Okay. I'm hoping these are getting easier. And maybe these are easier than the arrows, or maybe the arrows are easier than the numbers. I'm not sure which part is easier than the other. But hopefully the whole thing is making a lot more sense now. All right, I have a curved line, so I'm going to do x, y, less than, right? Okay. So I want left to right, bottom to top. So the left part of my graph is way over here, and that is -6. And that circle is closed, so I underline. And my furthest right is all the way over here, and that is +6, and that's an open circle, so I do not underline. Great. All right, now I need bottom to top. So my lowest point of my bottom is right here. That is 1, and that is a closed circle. And the top of my graph is right here, and that is 2, 3, 4, 5. And notice, here's the top. It's not the end always, remember. It's not always going to be the end. So my top is right here. There's no open circle, and it's not infinity, so I underline that, and that would be my final answer. And 2 more. So 41, I do x, y, less than, okay? So I want left to right, bottom to top. So the left part of my graph is way over here. That is -6. And an open circle is not underlined. All the way on the right, it's over here. And that is +6, and that is a closed circle, so I do have to underline that one. All right, now I need the bottom of my graph is right here. That's -2, underlined, because that's a closed circle. And the top of my graph is right here, which is +2. And that's an open circle right there, so I leave that one not underlined. And that's my final answer. It's almost like I'm making weird looking tic-tac-toe boards. And I have some weird line in the middle. All right, last one. X, y, less than, right? Okay. So just like the rest of these, I'm going to do left to right, bottom to top, because I have no arrows to give me infinity. All right, so the left side of my graph is way over here, and that would be -6. And look, right there on the line, right, there's no open circle or infinity, so I underline it. And then all the way on the right is over here, and that is 2. That's a closed circle, so I do have to underline that one also. All right, bottom down here, that's -6, and that is a closed circle, so underline. And then I have way up here is the top. That's 2, 4, +6, and that one is an open circle, so I do not underline that one. And that's it. So for all of these, if I don't have arrows, I have all 4 numbers, or I have partial, like half infinity, half arrows, right? So it just depends on what graph I have. Hopefully this has helped, and if you still need questions or need extra help, please come ask for help. And this is the end of the homework and the video.